Hello, hello, everybody. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. And here are some of today's, not trends in the news, Trends Journal news. And here's your new cover of your Trends Journal. Yep, 1796. No foreign entanglements. And that's from George Washington. But President's Day, where's the President of the United States, Joe Biden? He's a traitor to Washington, George Washington. He goes to Ukraine to give him another $500 million of our money. How come you didn't go to East Palestine over there? Oh, we got to call it Palestine. Yeah. Over there in Ohio. What the fuck you taking our money and giving it to the Ukrainians to keep the war going? This is a disgrace to our founding fathers. I, Gerald Salenti, am an American patriot. I honor the founding fathers and thank them for what they've done with the Bill of Rights and the Constitution that these little fucking scumbags have destroyed and robbed from us. This isn't America where you got some fucking clowns stealing our money to keep giving it to the war machine. And speaking of which, on Sunday, I was honored to speak at the Lincoln Memorial at the Rage Against the War Machine rally. Yep. Wonderful. Put on by the Libertarian and the People's Party. People from all sides. Not that many showed up. A good crowd, but not the kind of crowd that should have been there. I'm going to guess between 3,000 and 4,000 people. Young and old. They had a rally on Saturday in Munich, Germany. What do they got? 60, 70 million, 80 million people in Germany? I'm going to guess. What do we got in the United States? 332 million? 10,000 showed up in Munich. And the Washington Post covered the Munich rally, but they didn't cover our rally for peace. Peace is forbidden in the United States. All those little fucking prostitutes, all they do is promote war. NBC was there. All they were there. None of them covered it. Oh, Tom, Dick, and Harry were the only speakers besides myself. Tulsi Gabbard, Ron Paul, Kucinich, Jimmy Dore, one after another, Jill Stein, top speakers. Zero coverage for peace. And our traitor president, he's a traitor. I'll call it to his face. Joe Biden, you are a traitor to George Washington. Yeah, a real man, not like you draft dodger of the Vietnam War. You're a couple of years older than me. Yeah, I dodged the draft. I didn't want to get shot. And at a young age, I was stupid enough to believe the bullshit. But you got draft deferments and you've promoted every war since you've been sucking off the public tit for 60 fucking years. Sucking off the public tit and stealing our money. Hey, when Biden's last year's vice president, he was over in Ukraine when he was vice president for the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner, Barack Obama, quoted in a book, Double Down, I'm really good at killing people. Yeah, then. He was in Ukraine about 10 times. What were you doing there all those times? 10 or 12 times. In 1 year. In 1 year. He doing business over there? Oh, remember Hunter Biden? Oh, yeah, with Burisma Energy? And Christopher Hines from the Hines family? Oh, and another scumbag, arrogant fuck John Kerry's stepson? Yeah, that Christopher Hines on the board of directors of Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company after the United States coup overthrew the company. What are you doing over there? What are you doing over there now on President's Day? Rather than celebrating our presidents in the United States, you're a traitor. You disgraced them. Yeah. George Washington, a real man that fought. Yeah, across the Delaware. Remember that? Yeah, that guy. It is our true policy to steer clear of permanent alliance with any portion of the foreign world. Yeah, the foreign world. Observe good faith and justice toward all nations. Cultivate peace and harmony with all. Fuck you, George Washington. I'm another scumbag, murderous president. I align myself with the Bushes. The little Dick Clinton that every time he got caught with his pants down, his bombs away over Baghdad. I like Obama. Hey, Gaddafi, you gotta go. Syria, you gotta go. We want your oil. One after another. One after another. They dishonor our founding fathers. They don't talk about peace. The nation which indulges toward another an habitual hatred, like we have been taught to have an habitual hatred against Russia, or an habitual fondness, like Biden going over there to say how I gotta fucking love Ukraine. Oh, yeah. The most corrupt country in Europe, according to the United Nations, European Union, as we've been writing in the Trends Journal since 2014. A nation which indulges toward an habitual hatred or an habitual fondness, this is Washington, is in some degree a slave. You got it. All we are plantation workers of Slavelandia. A passionate attachment of one nation for another produces a variety of evils. That's George Washington. But where was Biden on Washington's birthday? In Ukraine. Attachment of one nation produces a variety of evils, and the evil was there. Yep. You got it. It is our true policy to steer clear of permanent alliance with any portion of the foreign world. George Washington. Overgrown military establishments which, under any form of government, are inauspicious to liberty and which are to be regarded as particularly hostile to Republican liberty. George Washington. And dishonoring our presidents as he goes to Ukraine. One of our other presidents, by the name of James Madison, had also said, where is it here? Of all the enemies of true liberty, war is perhaps the most to be dreaded. Yep. Because it comprises and develops the germ of every other. War is the parent of armies. From these proceed debt and taxes, and armies and debt and taxes are known instruments for bringing the many under the domination of the few. And here we are, dominated by the few, the disgusting pieces of shit that run and ruin our lives in a city, in a state, in a country near you. You got Gotzo and Macron, gutless Schultz. Look at the clowns, the Gavin Newsoms, the witless Whitmers, that arrogant DeWine over there in Ohio could give a fuck about all the poison in the air as he locked down the whole place during the COVID war. The domination of the many by the few. This isn't my America. My America is the founding fathers, which Joe Biden, by the cover of the Trends Journal, has disgraced. No foreign entanglements. On President's Day, he's in Ukraine. And now to your Trends Journal, another spectacular issue. Last week was what? 170 something pages. We're giving you what nobody else is giving you anywhere in the world. Nowhere, no how, and for pennies a day. Less than $3 a week. In-depth socioeconomic, in-depth geopolitical trends analysis and trend forecasts you won't find anywhere else in the world. And what I just told you about our traitor to the founding fathers, particularly George Washington, no one has said. So on the economic front, of course, we have the economic update and a market overview. You will not want to miss this economic update we've done. It's one of a kind. And the market overview, markets revised their outlook on interest rates. Yeah, look, no shit. Look what happened to the markets today. What a fucking surprise. It's very simple. We've been saying it over and 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 over. The whole thing was a fraud with the COVID war. When they pumped all these trillions of dollars into the markets, brought interest rates to zero and negative, artificially propping it up so the bigs could get bigger, so the Black Rocks and the Blackstones, which is very, very racist, I think, calling these criminal organizations black, as they buy up all the homes and take over the world. Merger and acquisition activity at an all-time high. Oh, and the new study came out. The middle class of Slavelandia went down from 50% now. It was 61% back in 1970. That's what the COVID war did. All of this cheap money, all this artificial money, very low interest rates. The higher the rates go up, boom, 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 the bigger this goes down. And boy, we have the details in this Trends Journal. Yep. Well, the national debt, it's only going to grow another $19 trillion. Don't worry about it. Oh, as the interest rates go up? Yeah, you got to pay more on that debt. But don't worry about it. We're going to come out with digital trash, getting rid of that dirty cash. Americans are tapping their savings to meet basic expenses. Wholesale inflation stronger in January than predicted. Predicted by who? The fuck faces who said that inflation was temporary and transitory? In a country near you. Yep. Top trend 2023. All right. Go back to your Trends Journal in like April, May 2020. That's right. Go back then. We warned of an office building bust. And guess what? Now it's making the headline business news. They are busting and going bust. Manhattan loses $12.4 billion a year as employees work from home. On and on and on. One company after another defaults. Top private equity firm defaults on 2 office tower loans. And we wrote last week another big decline over there in LA. Yeah, LA, homelessville. I was down in DC. You go around the traffic circles, homeless people, tents all over the place. And I used to be in DC a lot. I'm not a stranger to it. Haven't been there in a while. All the ugly fucking shit buildings they put up too, like everywhere else in this country. And for lease, for rent, for lease, for rent, for lease, for rent. Everywhere you look. Everywhere you look. What else do we have here? Ukraine war trend update. Load of important things. And one of them is that Putin says basically NATO and the U.S. are at war with Russia. And our traitor to George Washington president, Joseph Biden, said today when Russia invaded, it was not just Ukraine being tested. The whole world faced a test for the ages. That is a total fucking lie. The whole world is not threatened by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And again, I am totally opposed to the invasion, and I totally understand why it happened. But people have no fucking clue. But when you read your Trends Journal back in 2014, all the clues are there. Biden said, autocrats only understand one word. No, 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 you will not take my country. No, you will not take my freedom. No, you will not take my future. Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia. Never. Biden said to applause. You want to bet? Want to bet? How much you want to bet? Oh, yeah. The only way Russia won't win in Ukraine is nuclear annihilation and NATO and the United States going to war against Russia, which means the end of life on Earth. Everybody listening, you better do something for peace. United we stand, divided we die. End of story. You got maniacal people in charge over here. Again, Joe Biden is a disgrace to our founding fathers. As your cover of your Trends Journal clearly illustrates, no foreign entanglements. F you, Washington. Yep. So there you got it. Oh, and nobody talks about America's murderous wars. Only killed about 1 million or so in Iraq, destroyed a very, very prosperous nation, destroyed Libya, destroyed Syria. Oh, by the way, Syria had a terrible earthquake, but that's okay. Yeah, it's in your Trends Journal. Bombs away. Israel launched more missile attacks, only killed about 15 people in Damascus, but that's okay. Israel and the United States, they could kill and slaughter anybody they want, along with the UK and NATO and all the other colonial pricks, and I can't say the other people involved. They could kill anybody they want, but boy, those Russians, how dare they do what we do? And the scumbag media, they don't cover that. They don't cover it every day like the Ukraine war. How come they didn't cover the Iraq war like this? How come they didn't cover the Afghan war like this? Of America's murder. What hypocrisy. And what else do we have here in the Trends Journal? We got so much. Oh, featured guest article by Phil Giraldi, America the Feckless. Yep, the growing list of COVID lies, Dr. Joseph Mercola. Oh, an article you don't want to miss. We're on the brink by Gregory Mannarino. And the top guy in technocracy, I'll put anybody against them, anywhere, anyplace, Joe Duran. Woke ethic won't save us from singularity, and plus many others. This week in surveillance, trends in cryptos, again, trends in the COVID war, and trends in geopolitics. Yep. China urges NATO to stop picking fights around the world and playing the role, the U.S. and NATO, and playing the role of troublemaker. Imagine the nerve of Biden, of Anthony Blinken, little daddy's boy, telling China how dare they send weapons, or warning them not to send weapons to Russia. And that guy Burrell, the UN clown, telling him, don't you do that. Oh, yeah. And China said, what? You could send weapons to Ukraine, but we can't send weapons to Russia? Yeah, that's right. We only have the right to kill and murder. We got a long track record of it. We are NATO. We destroyed Yugoslavia. We destroyed Libya. We are the colonist powers. We are Germany. We only slaughtered 25 million Russians. We are the French. We only took over Indochina and raped all of Africa that we could. We are only the UK. The sun never sets on the British Empire. We will kill anybody, anywhere to steal what they have. How dare China give you Russia any weapons? And again, high-tech science, Ben Davis, Trend's Eye View, the Ohio toxic train wreck, making people sick. No kidding. Killing them. Lot more. But remember, the bottom line is, whatever you can do to support peace, you better do it now, because it's going to be too late if we don't do it. So please donate to Occupy Peace. I am fighting as a warrior for the Prince of Peace. Biden calls himself a practicing Catholic. That you are full of shit. You are full of shit, as you're saying you're going to keep waging war. Your words are right there. You are an abomination to the Prince of Peace. I, Gerald Celente, am a warrior for peace. So please send to Occupy Peace or the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace, and Justice, freedompeacejustice.com. And if you want to know what in the world is going on, what's next and what to do, you need the Trends Journal. Read history before it happens. Go to trendsjournal.com. Thank all of you that subscribe. You look at the comments of the people that subscribe on YouTube. They love the magazine. They can't believe how great it is. You listen to the comments at the end of this interview by Kiyosaki, Clayton Morris, one after another. They tell you how great the Trends Journal is. And please hit that subscribe button. We got to get the word out there. Subscribe. Send the word. We got a lot more coming up. Thank you for tuning in. And tomorrow, Celente and the Judge, Judge Andrew Napolitano. No man, nowhere knows the Constitution and the Bill of Rights like the judge. And we have a lot to say tomorrow. Again, trendsjournal.com. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.
Get the Trends Journal, the best investment you could make, because it's the best investment into your mind, and it can change how you look at the world.
Over the last 30 years, Joe Celente has been more accurate about predicting what would be happening than anyone else I'm aware of.
The Trends Journal is one of the greatest sources of information, and and it really is. You're predicting these things well ahead of time. I would encourage everyone to go grab the latest copy.
I've been a Trends Journal subscriber for 20 years. I just have to commend you. What you guys have put together in your latest Trends Journal, there's nothing like this out there.
Sir, everything that you predicted about the economy, you were absolutely right. So I have followed you all this time. So please take a look at the Trends Journal.
You correctly forecast that the Fed would hike rates quite aggressively, correctly said that initially gold and silver would drop as the Fed starts to raise rate to 1.5% and above. When we spoke last, Bitcoin was around 49,000. You said you expect to drop, and if it drops below 30, 35, then it could really drop.
Trends Journal, which I would encourage people to go and check out. It's actually a 200-page document, pure data-driven analysis.
Gerald Celente, the top trends forecaster in the world. Gerald, you had an interesting call back in September of last year. You said gold had bottomed, which is exactly what happened. And here we are, and we're above $1,900.
Subscribe to the Trends Journal. Read history before it happens at trendsjournal.com.